They are ticking time bombs in every business, including yours, and they can blow up at any point, especially as you start to scale. So let's dive in and see what they are, what you can do to remedy them, and keep your offer scaling. So I work with a lot of businesses at ClickBank, right? They're either scaling from $0, to 6, or 6 to 7, or 7 to 8, and everywhere in between. And there's some very common ticking time bombs that I see destroy businesses or offers before they ever really get off the ground, or as they start hitting that cusp of scale, because businesses start to break, right? As scale hits and traffic comes in and more customers come in, stress fractures can form and things can really go south quickly, which is a good problem to have, but a lot of people don't know how to get around them, right? We're marketers. We're good at playing offense. We're good at getting more sales and more traffic and more customers. What we don't always know is how to play defense, right? And how to protect the business and the assets there in ways that can help it scale and kind of grow, or even know when to pivot and when to add in new processes or systems in place, right? So let's dive into some of the most common ones I see. A big one, right, is tech infrastructure. And in our space, right, in the direct response space and scaling, it's often hosting, right? Where are you hosting the website? Do you even have enough bandwidth to be able to scale it? This can have a direct impact on your page load speed, right? It can also just have a direct impact on how much volume you can take. I've seen offers who they win a big affiliate, right? They're like, yes, okay, we have this big affiliate mailing, but they have this base plan hosting package. And the affiliate sends tens of thousands, 100,000 of clicks to their site in a matter of hours, and their site crashes. And then the offer doesn't convert for that affiliate. Maybe they had a guaranteed payment they're going to give that affiliate, but they didn't get any sales now. So now they have to pay this affiliate for sales they never had because their tech broke. Or the offer tanks and the affiliate's never going to mail for it again. He's going to tell his friends, hey, don't mail to that. It doesn't work, right? They don't know what they're doing. So they don't have their tech infrastructure in place. Other things, right, might be what page builder you're using. Those can have a major impact on page load speed too, and page load speed is one of the most important factors of conversion rates. If you're taking anywhere over 3 seconds, it's really going to hurt. Anything, if you can get down to under a second, you're going to be in a great spot. So you really want to keep an eye on page load speed and make sure it can accommodate and scale. And then everything else, like where are your customers going? What CRMs are you using? Can they handle your growth as you start to get past 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 100,000? Are the costs involved with that sustainable? All these kinds of things you kind of keep in mindful of for as you start scaling your business. It can start to kind of really hamper your growth. Next piece would be customer service really starts to break early on as scale hits, right? Any business, digital, physical, products, supplements, whatever it might be, needs customer service to answer customer questions that come in. And as you start to go from a few sales a day to 10 sales a day to hundreds of sales a day to maybe thousands of sales a day, right? Your customer service needs to be able to scale with it, or you're going to be in a bind. I see a lot of solopreneurs. They're doing their own customer service to start, right? And they're hustling, they're being an affiliate manager, they're doing all these roles. And then they bring their wife or their husband or significant other in to help with their customer service because they're just pulling their hair out and they're staying up all night to answer questions and to kind of issue refunds if they needed to, or get products out faster and things like that. And it really constrains them pretty quickly on. If you don't get it right early on, you'll see refunds and chargebacks and fraud, against your account come in 30, 45, 60 days later from those sales that happen early on, right? So if you don't have that ability to scale, it's going to really hurt down the road in the immediate future. Which can, when that starts happening, it can compound. You can start to lose merchant processing. You'll start getting, you might be negative if you're paying a CPA to affiliates, like a fixed cost per acquisition, right? If your refund rate becomes 20% and you were giving 80%, now you're at break even, or you might be negative now on all these sales you gave out, all this commission you gave out. And you might be kind of scrambling, or if you're fulfilling physical products, refunds really start to hurt, right? So customer service is vitally important, and people usually don't think about it until they're pulling their hair out. right? So some things you can do, right? Can you be using offshore until you can go onshore, right? It's pretty affordable to go offshore. You're looking at $400 to $600 a month for a full-time employee over in the Philippines or something like that. Onshore can be a bit better. We can dive into that later, maybe on the really key differences of customer service. But what are you doing to kind of protect yourself and make sure you can actually grow with your volume, right? You might not need to pay for it now, but what can you be doing to be able to, okay, go and really tell someone or an agency or a customer service rep to like, okay, we need to onboard another one. We need to onboard another one. And can be able to sustain that. And next big thing, which no one likes to think about, is like accounting and finances. I mentioned, right, that we were good at playing offense. We're great at seeing dollars coming in, right? Oh my God, gross revenue is great. We did $1 million this month, yada, yada, yada. Where marketers start to fail is looking at that cash flow of money in, money out. A friend of mine, Vinny Fisher, right, talks about the leaky bucket over at Fully Accountable, and kind of where you have money coming in, but it's going out to all these different service providers you're using, your customer service team, right? That's growing. All this money starts going out as you scale, and all of a sudden your cash flow might be negative. It might be in a bind. You might not be getting cash fast enough to stay liquid, and all these things can really start to hamper and constrict your growth. The other part too is a lot of offer owners and affiliates don't actually know their best performing traffic sources, right? You might think, oh, this is my best performing traffic source because the most sales coming from it. But what you don't know is the most sales coming from that traffic source have the higher refund rates, they have higher customer service costs, they have all these other ancillary costs to this traffic source that is actually making it less lucrative for you. If you actually invested more dollars into, say, traffic source B, which might not have as much volume right now, it's actually a much more quality customer coming in, you might be able to pivot over there. And that's what a good kind of financial person on your team or something like Fully Accountable can do, right, is actually help you dial into, hey, here's where all your money's going, good or bad, right? Here's what you can tighten up, and here's your best performing traffic sources. And here's where you can double down, right? It's the 80-20 applies. You want to put most of your effort towards the best converting and best performing and most lucrative, which isn't always the most sales. It can be kind of confusing. And before we go into the last one, I'd love to hear from you what has really hampered your growth, right? Leave a comment below if you've had something like this blow up in your business, if you've had issues with anything like this, like what have you had to fix in the last, say, 4 months before you were able to move past it, right? Systems and process can really fail as you scale. So what have you had to do, right? It happens all the time. I know here at ClickBank, we've had to change out different CRMs, right? Which is a big hassle, but just for internal processes, right? Anything like that. I'd love to hear what you've had to do in your business. The last one is a bit murky, but it's partnerships, right? A lot of people early on in their business will set up a partnership, like an equity deal with somebody because they don't have a lot of cash to invest or a cash to pay something, right? So like, oh yeah, I'll give you 10%, I'll give you 15%, whatever it might be. We'll split this 50-50 just because they need that person to work with them and they can't offer them what they're worth on a dollar amount. So they'll give them equity in the company. And just be careful of that. It's a great tool to leverage, right, and kind of leverage equity, but you're often tied to that very long term if the deal isn't structured in a clear way that ends after X months or years, or limits it to a certain amount or something like that. So I've seen people, they can't scale because their customer acquisition cost is too high, and it's too high because they're paying this person 20%. And they're not even in the company anymore, right? So the partner might not even be involved, but the deal that they structured, they still have to pay them 20%. So now they have this margin they'll never get back, and they almost have to start a brand new company just to get rid of it, right? And kind of move stuff over here and then rebuild. So be mindful of the partnerships you're creating and kind of what those terms are. Lawyers are worth it in a lot of cases, right? To help you structure these if you're not worth, it could be worth the investment. Because, right, I get questions like, oh, why do offers retire? Why do offers stop converting? And sometimes they do, right? Sometimes they get tapped out of the traffic sources and there's not fresh audiences for that and they retire. But more often than not, it's one of these 4 kind of ticking time bombs that tank the offer or tank the business from ever reaching its highest heights. Right, so it's protecting that profit margin, having great customer service that keeps your refund rates low and doesn't constrict you and actually lets you deliver on a good product. It's having good tech infrastructure that can scale with you and not just keep you always on a hair on fire level. making sure your cash flow, your accounting and finances are locked in. You really know where the money that's coming in and where it's going out and who's getting paid what traffic sources are performing. And then the partners you're doing, right? Like that's part of the cash flow issue, but just early on and long term, just be mindful of the partnerships you're creating. So trust was valuable for you. Again, let me know what you've had to fix in your business in the last 4 months. It's always interesting to see, right? It's often software, tech, kind of process, things like that. And leave a like and subscribe for more weekly affiliated videos.